So this is the story of Little Knight. Yes. He's an interesting story because we got him as a yearling. Didn't know anything was wrong, but very quickly worked out there something wasn't right. And it was a bit of a journey to discover exactly what was going on and what he needed from us. Now, it would have been very easy to think that he was cheeky, naughty, dirty, trying it on, having a go, and get up him, show him who's boss, train it out of him, as many people think is the case and what you do in those situations. However, that would never have worked with him, and he certainly wouldn't have turned out like this and been as sweet as he is if that's the approach that we had taken. In fact, all of them, any of them. I mean, Misty's come with pain problems, Kevin's come with pain problems, Sammy's come with pain problems. They've all come with pain problems, and we've managed to sort it out. And so they want to be with us. As you can see, they're here. All of them are here. And that's because we take the time to figure out what's going on, and we don't get up them, show them who's boss, turn them in 50 million circles, lunge them for hours so that they behave themselves. We listen when they're in pain or discomfort, and we try to do something about it. So this is Little Knight's story. He is in a very unusual case. I hope you find that his story is an interesting one, and it might help you in the future to look at your ponies in a different light. So this is the story of Little Knight, who we got as a yearling. Now, he had everything done that you could possibly do to a yearling other than ride them before we got him, making him a perfect project, we thought, for Giselle. So we spent the first year on the ground, we took him to shows, we led him off other horses, we dragged him everywhere, we did all sorts of things with him. But immediately we started to see some red flags. He was excessively spooky, especially with anything coming from behind. He would run off, he would buck, he was spooky as anything. Especially with sound. So the sound of my gumboots on the gravel behind him was enough to send him absolutely crazy. So Giselle breaking him in, that was quite hard. She got bucked off quite a few times. We tried other people, he would buck them off. It was very, very, very difficult. Then we had a friend come out who said, I think that there's a problem. Looking at his back, I think his back's out. I think you should get a body worker. So we got a body worker, and you know what? For a couple of months after that, he wasn't too bad. I mean, he was young and green, but everything was normal. So we thought, wow, this is great. We've fixed it. Of course, unfortunately, it started to slip back, and so we got the body worker out again. Sure enough, had a few months. He started giving pony rides to people. He was doing great. But again, slipped back, and just being difficult, like you'll see in this video. He just doesn't really want to go forward, and he's it's just not completely comfortable. So when he gets to that point, body worker. Now, after the third time that this happened, I was like, there's something is not right. He's so sweet all the time. How can he be so uncomfortable? So I took a photo. And you can see this photo. This is what his back would look like. And I decided to get a vet for a change. Now, immediately the vet found that he believed he had a break in his sacrum, possibly as a foal. So obviously we had him as a yearling and there was no sign of it. And so we sort of changed tactics at that point. We gave him some time off. We got a qualified body worker, chiropractor. She said he was out all over the place. Did a couple of sessions with him, and then he started going great. Like, we had a good 6 months where he was just on fire. Look at him. No problems at all. And he did rides, he did lessons. We did lots of lead rein with him, and he was pretty good, to be fair. He did not a lot of no jumping with beginners, but he certainly did a lot of games and riding in the arena. And he's just so sweet. There was never a moment in time where he was like, don't get on me. I mean, look at him. Look at him. She could do all of this stuff, and he never refused. So it was hard to see him being so upset when he was uncomfortable. Like you'll see here. Okay, that's what he could be like. And that's the jarring from not warming him up and jumping. We found sort of as we went along that you need to warm him up properly. If you jump on and push him too far too quick, then you can see he's uncomfortable. After he warms up, all of that sort of stops. Also, he needs a balanced rider. He needs somebody who is upright and can hold their position properly. If somebody leans too far forward or leans too far back, this causes him discomfort and he will buck. And he is not tolerant of saddles that don't fit at all. He's very sensitive. So we worked around it, and with getting regular body work and keeping him in shape, we had about 18 months where he was pretty good. We trekked him all over the place. I mean, he competed, he did all sorts of things. And anytime his back went out, and we would get it fixed up. But he was pretty good. So at that point we thought, well, Giselle really wants to jump, and it's not really kind to keep him jumping when, it obviously is a bit hard on his body, and he doesn't need to. So we decided we would lease him out as a sort of lead rein. Unfortunately, it didn't last. He started bucking everybody off. And excessively spooky. So that was quite difficult. Now, this is a video of him the day he came back from being on lease. So you'll see what he's like. Compared to the other videos that you've seen, even when he was uncomfortable and bucking, he still was willing. He still wanted to do it. And here, he don't want to go forward at all. He doesn't want to do anything at all, actually. So being away from us and not having us around, it really affected him. Not just that he was in pain, but it affected his whole personality. So that was a bit of a wake-up call, really, I think. And at that point we realised it's not just about the fact that he's uncomfortable. It's actually about the fact that he trusts us and felt safe with us. So it took Giselle a few months to get him back into the way that he was. I mean, you can still see here he's not comfortable at all. But when she did get him back to being his normal self, he was perfect. And we had, again, another 18 months where he was just amazing. I don't even think we got the chiropractor out in the 18 months. He was so good. If he ever got a bit glitchy, we would warm him up a bit more, give him a few stretches, and he was great. She jumped him a little bit. We did loads of trekking. We took him everywhere. He led other ponies off him. It was no problem at all. So again, we thought, why don't we lease him out? He's going really well. We gave full disclosure of what he was like. Told them that if he started getting excessively spooky or whatnot, he needed the chiropractor. But he should be fine on lead rein because he had been perfect with us on lead rein. But guess what? He was not. Now this video coming up here, this is, I think, the week before he went on lease. Now look at it. She's not even holding the reins. She's firing bows and arrows off him. He should have been perfect, but he wasn't. So when he came back, we decided that he trusts us and only us. Feels safe with us, feels confident with us. So it's not only a physical thing, it's actually a psychological thing. And these are things that we need to keep in mind with our horses. These are things that we need to be aware can happen. He's an unusual case, I know. But any horse is capable of this. So pain, mental and physical, affects them a lot. And we need to listen. We need to learn the signs and read the signs of what is going on with our ponies. I mean, he is reasonably obvious, but there are horses that are not. And I know that it's difficult. I know that it's hard when they are misbehaving to immediately think that it is training. But you can see in this video, it is not training. My goodness, he is just the most solid boy you could ever hope to have. He's just so sweet, and you would never think that he would be capable of doing anything naughty, right? And he isn't being naughty. He's telling you that he's uncomfortable. Now, this is immediately after we got him back off that second lead. Now, if he'd bucked everybody off and been an absolute nightmare, this is, I think, within 2 or 3 days of him coming back. Excuse me, I don't know what I was videoing there, but he's perfect. We're out on a farm, we did a good trek, and we even, a few days after that, took him to
the Claudelands Christmas markets, and he did, I think, about 60 pony rides with us, including a girl who had spina bifida. So that shows his level of trust, that he will allow us to give 60 kids who've never even ridden before rides with an unbalanced child, and yet he couldn't cope with somebody he didn't know who is experienced. There he is at Claudelands, giving pony rides. So we need to share stories like this. We need to get them out. We need to show people that it is possible for a horse or pony to have discomfort, not only physical but mental. And then what we need to do about that. We need to share it. We need to be not ashamed that they have it, and that we may or may not have picked it up quickly. And our stories will help other people realize that it's not always training behavior, that quite often it is just physical.